There is a moment every gardener knows. A tomato plant at the edge of the yard with leaves gone pale, stems sagging, flowers closing before they ever set fruit. Most people reach for the shovel. Soil scientists who study plant decline have found something that changes that instinct entirely. In almost every case, the plant is not finished. It is running out of one or two specific nutrients that the soil can no longer supply on its own. And those nutrients can be delivered in as little as 48 hours using items already sitting in your kitchen. 5 of them. 5 zero-cost liquid fertilizers that university soil labs have measured, that generations of experienced small farmers used before synthetic products arrived, and that the lawn and garden industry has quietly set aside for one straightforward reason. There is no profit in a banana peel. There is no logo to print on onion skin tea. No premium shelf space to sell for something made from yesterday's coffee grounds. This is the story of those 5 methods, what each one does, why each one works faster than anything sold in a bag, and the specific mistake that keeps most of these remedies from working the way they should. The first method starts with a question most people get wrong. Which part of an onion carries more potassium, the white bulb that goes into the pot or the dry papery skin that goes into the trash? It is the skin. Those outer layers hold concentrated levels of potassium, calcium, magnesium, and iron. They also carry a compound called quercetin that shields plant leaves from heat stress, slows fungal spread, and stabilizes the plant's internal chemistry during temperature swings. Most gardeners hear about onion peels and bury the skins directly in the soil. That works but takes weeks. The plant above keeps declining while the nutrients stay locked inside dry fiber. The correct approach is water. A handful of dry onion skins dropped into a quart jar of cool tap water and left at room temperature for 24 to 48 hours produces a liquid the color of dark amber tea. That color is potassium, magnesium, calcium, and quercetin compounds already dissolved and immediately available to plant roots. No composting, no waiting for decomposition. Poured at the base of a yellowing tomato or a pepper that has stopped setting fruit, this liquid begins producing visible results within days. Stems thicken. New leaves emerge greener. Flower production increases within a week. The plant's own immune response strengthens. Stem rot slows. Seedling wilt fades. The second method turns a kitchen habit into a soil transformation. The cloudy water left over after rinsing uncooked rice goes down the drain in nearly every American household every evening. That water carries starches, B vitamins, iron, and zinc. Fresh from rinsing, it is mildly useful to the garden. Left in a covered jar at room temperature, for 3 to 5 days it becomes something fundamentally different. The faint sour smell that develops is the signature of lactic acid bacteria and wild yeasts colonizing the liquid. This is the same microbial activity at the heart of the effective microorganism formulas, now used on farms across more than 150 countries, studied and documented by Japanese agricultural researcher Dr. Taro Higa beginning in the 1980s. When fermented rice water is applied to garden soil, those bacteria meet the existing microbial community around plant roots. The starches serve as a concentrated food source, and the soil microbiome multiplies rapidly. Within a single week, the population of beneficial organisms around treated plants can triple. The rice water does not feed the plant directly. It builds the living infrastructure that feeds the plant continuously. The critical mistake nearly every first-time user makes is applying the water fresh, before fermentation occurs. Fresh rice water is mild and largely ineffective. Fermented rice water, 3 to 5 days old, is an entirely different tool. Dilute the finished product at 1 part rice water to 10 parts plain water before application. Undiluted, the acidity can irritate tender root systems, particularly in seedlings. The third method converts what most households consider trash into the fastest-acting nitrogen source that can be made at home. German chemist Justus von Liebig established in the 1840s what became known as the law of the minimum. Plant growth is not determined by the nutrients a plant has plenty of. It is determined by the one nutrient the plant has the least of. In nearly every American backyard garden, that limiting nutrient is nitrogen. Green kitchen scraps carry what soil scientists call a low carbon to nitrogen ratio. they are dense with nitrogen relative to their fiber content. When those scraps are crushed into a 5-gallon bucket, covered with water, weighted below the surface, and left to ferment for approximately 2 weeks, bacteria break the plant cells apart and release the locked nitrogen into the liquid through a process called nitrogen mineralization. The finished liquid is dark, cloudy, and strong-smelling. That smell is proof it is ready. Diluted at 1 part scrap liquid to 30 parts fresh water and applied at the base of struggling plants, visible change arrives within 4 to 6 days. The mistake that damages more gardens than any other with this method is applying the liquid undiluted or as a foliar spray directly onto leaves. Undiluted, it burns root hairs. On leaves, it scorches on contact. This method works at the soil, at the correct dilution, applied to the root zone only. The fourth method combines several of these principles into one comprehensive formula. Banana peels provide potassium. Finely crushed eggshells provide calcium carbonate, the building block of cell walls whose deficiency causes the black sunken patches at the bottom of otherwise healthy tomatoes known as blossom end rot. Used coffee grounds add slow-release nitrogen and improve soil texture. A critical clarification belongs here, because this myth has circulated for decades. Fresh, unbrewed coffee grounds are acidic. Used grounds from a home coffee maker measure between 6.5 and 6.8 on the pH scale, nearly neutral, sitting precisely where most vegetable gardens perform best. Used grounds will not acidify a garden bed. 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt, technically magnesium sulfate, adds the mineral that sits at the center of every chlorophyll molecule in every green leaf. Magnesium deficiency produces yellowing between leaf veins while the veins themselves stay green. Reversing that pattern takes days with a direct magnesium application. The dark bitter version from the final boiling of sugarcane completes the formula. Molasses is food for microbes. Stirred into the brew, it causes beneficial bacterial populations to multiply within hours, breaking down the banana peels, eggshells, and coffee grounds dramatically faster than they would decompose alone. A brew without molasses takes 3 weeks to be useful. With molasses, it is ready in 3 days. All ingredients go into approximately 1 gallon of warm water and steep for 3 to 5 days in a covered bucket. Pour at the root zone, never on leaves, always diluted. Before 1913, synthetic fertilizer did not exist. Every farm on Earth ran on animal manure and compost. Then Fritz Haber and Carl Bosch invented the industrial nitrogen synthesis process that now feeds roughly half the human population alive today. That process also, over the following century, taught farmers to feed the plant while systematically starving the soil. The old method still works. For rescuing a dying plant in a backyard, it still outperforms the synthetic version in one critical way. It delivers nutrients and living biology simultaneously. A shovelful of aged dried manure, from chickens, cows, or rabbits, never fresh, goes into a porous sack. An old pillowcase works. So does a burlap bag or a mesh laundry bag. The sack gets tied shut and dropped into a 5-gallon bucket of water for 3 to 5 days. The water slowly extracts soluble nutrients while solid matter stays safely contained inside the sack. Aged chicken manure carries the highest nitrogen and phosphorus concentration of the 3, making it the most powerful growth stimulant. Aged cow manure is more balanced and exceptional for building long-term soil structure. Rabbit manure is the only common type that can be applied raw to a garden without burning roots, making rabbit-based tea the gentlest option for seedlings and young transplants. The mistake that fails most manure tea attempts is using fresh droppings. Fresh manure carries excess ammonia, weed seeds, and pathogens. A bucket of fresh manure applied without aging can scorch an entire row of seedlings in 48 hours. The material must be aged, ideally 6 months to a year, before entering the tea process. Once brewed, dilute the finished liquid to the color of weak iced tea, approximately 1 part tea to 10 parts clean water, before any contact with the garden. Apply in the cool hours of early morning or late evening. Midday heat causes nitrogen to evaporate from the soil surface before roots can absorb it. 5 liquids: onion peel elixir, fermented rice water, vegetable scrap digestate, the full-spectrum kitchen formula, aged manure tea, Each one solves a different deficiency. Each one costs nothing. Each one begins producing visible results within a week, and in several cases within 48 hours. What connects all five is a single principle that the modern gardening industry has no financial interest in communicating clearly. The materials most often called waste in a contemporary kitchen are, in almost every case, the precise inputs a struggling garden needs to recover: the potassium in onion skins, the nitrogen in green vegetable scraps, the magnesium in Epsom salt, the living biology in fermented liquids, the full-spectrum nutrition in aged manure extract. A gardener who understands this has access to a fertilizer supply that will never run out, never raise its price, and never carry a warning label about what happens if it contacts skin or washes into groundwater. The garden in return asks only that its keeper redirect what the kitchen is already producing toward the soil rather than toward the landfill. The next time a tomato plant begins to yellow, or a pepper stops setting fruit, or a prized zucchini starts to fade, pause before reaching for the shovel. The cure is almost certainly already in the kitchen. Which of these five will you try first? Leave it in the comments, and share this with a gardener who has been losing more plants than they should. The old knowledge works. It just needs someone willing to use it.